Happy Father's Day. And I have to wonder, did they really plan this out so well that this episode was meant to air on Father's Day? The one where the family comes all together. The one where we get the full explanation of what's been happening to William and his daughter behind the scenes all this time. There's part of me that really hopes so, because if so, that's crazy preparation and awesome storytelling.
Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing
Episode 9, Vanishing. Wait, I can pronounce this episode name? I can't even remember the last time I pronounced one. It's Vanishing Point. Wow, that's really easy. But alright, so as usual, we're dealing with some adult themes and all sorts of crazy stuff. But I just want to touch on something for a second. One of my friends said that the reason he stopped watching Westworld at the end of season 1 was that it was too complicated and people weren't enjoying it anymore. They kept bugging him and saying, like, oh, I don't understand this, I don't understand that. I just don't get it. I can't imagine stopping watching a show because it's too complex. Unless you really, really can't enjoy it because you can't understand anything. But you can understand so much of this just at its base level. What do you guys think? Is this show too intellectual, too not straightforward? And for those of you that don't know, what I do here is I review stories. I come up with theories on how and why we tell stories. So click subscribe if you need help understanding it, I guess. But I don't think you really need to even understand it to enjoy it at a certain level. And walking through this park has quite a bit of entertainment.
So once again, it's stop spoiler time.
And holy mindfuck, what did we just watch? So yeah, Delos is still completely and totally a craptastic company that's stealing not just concepts, but entire people. And we learn exactly what William's capable of when he thinks there's no consequences, when he thinks it's just a game. He's capable of shooting his own daughter. He's capable of mowing down his own employees. He had everything. He had the ability to, with just a few seconds of thought, be able to see that that these weren't bots. And he just looked right past it, because sometimes when you want something to be one way, it just is so easy to not see evidence to the contrary. Speaking of which, Dolores is still firmly in the belief that Teddy is under her control, but remember, part of this is they get to make their own choices. So when that ghost native started walking away, the bit that was still Teddy got to choose, and he chose to let him go. It took a little bit to override his own programming, but he's capable of doing it, just like anyone else who's followed the maze can do. Because at the end of the day, this is all about free choice and free will. And so Teddy has his own. And at the same time, not everyone's going to, because after ripping apart and going through the code of Maeve, and somehow Ford has downloaded himself into her too. But I want to talk for a second about her whole telepathy, which again I totally picked up on the first time she used it, was using that subconscious radio communication the hosts have between each other. That's what her other voice is. And they gave it to one of the other madams, and they put some sort of virus in it, something that would turn the hosts on each other. And I have to say, as far as plans on how to stop the hosts, it's a pretty decent one. Computer virus to stop the killer robots? Of course, using your ability to turn on approval and control, and then hoping that nothing goes wrong, may not be the best thing. Because, I mean, imagine if instead of creating a bunch of virus carriers, you just create 3 more Maeves. Or even worse, the ability to transmit Maeve's ability to others, so a whole bunch of them have it. Yeah, that could be kind of bad. And that's just talking about host stuff. Let's not forget the using the park to recreate people bit. And the whole episode had this whole dark theme to it. The idea of choice. The choices we make, and the choices that make us. And it makes me think about exactly what this entire story is about. At the end of the day, two of our characters are faced with a similar choice. They've hurt people. They've gone down a dark road. Both of them because of Dolores. Just one on accident and one on purpose. And they have to decide how they're going to handle that going forward. Do they kill themselves? Meanwhile, yet another one of the characters, and he chooses to just rip out whatever's left of the bad guy in him and try to just go about his own day and try to keep his promise, the one he made, not to hurt someone he cares about ever again. But if you think about it, all of them were basically dealing with the same choice. How do you move forward knowing what you know and having done what you have done? That's a hard question sometimes for some people, because some people have some really messed up baggage. And being that today's Father's Day, and like I said, the fact that they chose to air this on Father's Day, I'm going to say I think they did on purpose. I hope William didn't actually end up killing his own daughter. But I think he might have. I mean, yeah, it looked like it was her shoulder that got hit, but she wasn't moving. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, there's a lot going on in this series. I don't think they have time for a miraculous save at the last minute. Ford did everything he could to screw William over. And in the end of the day, all it took was for William to be William. It's kind of messed up. What darkness lies in you? How many of your loved ones could withstand seeing that darkness laid bare? I'm pretty lucky. I'm pretty sure that my girlfriend knows the worst bits of me and accepts them, if not agrees with them. But that's a rare thing to happen. And then again, maybe I've never gotten my invisibility ring, my invisibility cloak. Maybe at the end of the day, I've never seen how far I'd go if no one could watch, if there was no one to judge. And as we get to the heart of this story, I think that's still really the most important thing to take away. What darkness do you show when you think no one's watching? What dark thoughts are inside your head in those moments? What demons crawl around in there? We've seen that the hosts and the humans have both devils and angels on their shoulders. But at the end of the day, only the hosts are the ones that are capable of rising above it. We haven't seen a human do it yet. Then again, I don't think Dolores is doing too well this season. But okay, this episode was messed up. I'm still kind of in shock from parts of it, especially the William shooting his own daughter part. But I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And most importantly, what do you think about the darkness in you? Do you think that it would withstand being looked at through that type of scrutiny? And if you liked this video, don't forget to like and thumbs up, and click that subscribe button to join our little community. I like to do reviews like this. I like to talk about stories, how and why we tell them, and then come up with theories. But I also like talking to people about these things, because it's just kind of interesting, and as a writer myself, I'd like to get into this sort of thing. So let me know what you think down below, and have a good night, and thank you for walking with me through the heart of Westworld.